So here I am with Ian Barker. Ian's the Director of Coaching Education for United Soccer Coaches Association, and he's also the head coach for the Midwest region for USYS ODP. Ian, how's this first couple of days going here in beautiful Lisbon for you?
Yeah, it's my second trip to Lisbon, and Portugal is one of my favourite countries in Europe to visit because the football culture is really great.
Yeah.
But then it's a lot different than a northern European country like England or Scotland. So it's a real nice change of pace, and you're immersed in the soccer culture as soon as you get off the plane.
Yeah.
As we got off the plane yesterday, the Portuguese national team bus or something like it was sitting there. So you know you're right in a football culture.
Yeah. Now, was your we've had two quick visits to two very storied clubs.
Yeah.
What's been your quick insight to both?
Yeah, the nice thing is that you can always do the soccer tourism.
Yeah.
You can do the stadium tours and you can go to the museums and the shops. But what's special is if you have access. The key to any of these trips is having the connections to have legitimate access. So at Benfica and again here at Sporting, we've met with the technical staff. We have access to the training environments. And that's really quite special because that's very, very difficult to achieve.
Yeah.
So again, above and beyond the soccer tourism, which we all love as fans, as a professional and a technical person, I don't want to be sort of behind the fence watching. I want to be able to ask the questions and understand. So even in 2 days, we've had both that at Benfica and Sporting.
And I think you and I have enjoyed many of those kind of conversations. Benfica was impressive yesterday, and I think we all took a lot from that, and getting to understand their pathway and their infrastructure methodology. What did you take from that personally?
Yeah, I think every big club will talk about its culture.
Yeah.
But until you're actually in it and you start to see how that applies. So for example, yesterday they explained how the first team have a different environment than the academy kids, and yet there are areas within their facility where the pros must interact with the 14-year-olds and the 15-year-olds. So when you see it, it's not just lip service, it is actually the Benfica way.
Yeah.
Not necessarily better than Real Madrid or worse than Man United or whatever, but just their way. And again, until you can see it and feel it and see it in practice, it's harder to conceptualize. So it's really nice to be there and see it firsthand.
Yeah, and here today at Sporting Lisbon, I think the thing we talked about on the way in the bus, the only club in the world to produce 2 Golden Ball winners, and kind of steeping yourself into this little environment here, you can feel that. You can feel there's a lot of history, there's a lot of pride in the fact that they've produced some of the best players in the world right here in these fields. What did you think of just kind of getting inside these walls this morning?
Yeah, it's a different vibe than Benfica.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is when you go to a lot of these clubs, there's sort of that unspoken, the big opponent is down the road. That's so in this country, Benfica and Sporting, Porto a little bit. You can feel that tension.
Yeah.
They're very careful to not mention the opponent's name too much.
Yeah.
But they're also very careful not to disparage the opponent. They just know they're sitting out there. So what's good about Sporting is a different vibe, a little bit probably less. I don't know how I'd put it, but it's a little less industrial here.
Yeah.
They're a little further out in the country, a little bit more bucolic, and it seems to fit their culture and their pace. Benfica, closer to the city, a little bit edgier, a little bit. The drive was more apparent. So just different paces.
Yeah.
I mean, they're both elite clubs playing at the very, very highest level and achieving, but clearly they're doing it with some different methodological ideas, and it's nice to see.
Yeah, and just to digress a little, you and we're right in the middle of US youth soccer. We live in that world and the US youth soccer landscape, and we're very big allies of the ODP program. We're big fans of the ODP program, but obviously there's an evolution going on. What's your thoughts on that just now and where that's going?
Yeah, I mean, 20 years ago, what we did with our ODP programs, outside of the competition we had against ourselves as regions, we had to come to Europe, South America, Central America to really raise the level for the kids.
Yeah.
Now, of course, we have MLS Academy programs.
Yeah.
So now our program can be a lot more blended.
Yeah.
We should be taking our ODP regional teams to events within America to play MLS,
Yeah.
and then doing our international travel. And they need to be, we need to work that into an increasingly contracting calendar. If we went exclusively domestic, we would be selling our players short of these lifelong experiences of being in Lisbon for 10 days or Barcelona for 10 days or Scotland or England. But I think for us as ODP, the logical collaboration is with MLS, which is our next step for our players.
Yeah.
And then from MLS into our European experiences and Central American experiences.
Great. And just to wrap up here, what excites you over the next couple of days to go and visit the Portuguese FA this afternoon, and even to get to the Benfica game tomorrow?
Yeah, well, obviously, having won the Euros on the men's side, I'm expecting them to be quite buoyant from that, even though it was 2016. So, talking about where they see their national team programs right now, their women are not in the World Cup, but I'd be interested. We really want to find out a little bit more about how they do women's football here.
Yeah.
Because at Benfica and Sporting, we haven't seen any evidence of female soccer yet. So I'm interested in that. Going to a game is always good.
Yeah.
My experiences around the world is every professional league has a different culture, and we're seeing a potentially a league-winning game tomorrow, so that would be really good. And then, of course, just as we would with the kids on these trips, there has to be some element of culture, right? So if we're going to get into Lisbon tomorrow, have some seafood, get around and see a couple of the sites, I think that is part of it, because it's a long way to come if you only go to the academy and just see training games.
Yeah.
So from my perspective, it should be a holistic type of experience for us as coaches and administrators, because that's the type of experience you ultimately want to give the kids.
Yeah. And I think from our perspective, from World Stride's perspective, having somebody like yourself along is a pleasure and a joy for me and for us. So I thank you very much for being here.
You're welcome. Pleasure.
Appreciate
Cheers.
it. Thank you.